Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some more DC Worlds Collide. I thought we'd do something a little different today and a little fun. I want to talk variants. DC has some characters that have all kinds of variants and stuff like that. And I thought it'd be cool to talk about my favorite character anyways, which is Superman, and some of the variants that I would love to see in this game. Now we're going to have to suspend some things like the idea of whether or not they would be willing to pay for someone's likeness or not. We'll not worry about any of that stuff. This is just fun. We'll assume the game's going to be around long enough to even deal with variants again, just for fun. Just throw it out there, have a blast. Let me know what you think, your favorite version of Superman, and if there's another variant you'd like me to cover. Batman has a ton, Wonder Woman has a few. Uh, there's some characters out there that got a few different variants, and it'd be fun to see those in the game. And of course, we all have our favorites, and so we want to see them in the game. We'd love to play them and collect them. As it's why we like these hero collector games. It's why we're here. We like DC. We like these types of games, and variants are a part of that. And getting to collect your favorite variant would be really cool. So, like I said, I'll start this video off with Superman. And this will be a Superman video, so let me know your favorite Superman variants, and then if you want me to do a Batman one or a Wonder Woman one, let me know. I'll do one for that too. I've got a couple different favorites of those as well. But to hop right into the Superman one, my number one would be Henry Cavill's version, the DCEU version of Superman. He's my favorite Superman. Love him. I would love to see him in James Gunn's story. Not that David Cornswet didn't do a great job. Just love Henry Cavill. I think he looks the part. He is the part. He embraced it on and off the camera, which is really cool. A lot of times you'll get these, the actors, and it's a job to them, and I understand that. We all have jobs, and jobs are in our lives, and we have things outside of that that are more important to us. But when an actor embraces your favorite character, like the way Henry embraced Superman, it was really cool to watch and see. And I wish so much better for him and the way he played Superman. Who knows, maybe someday down the road we'll get an appearance from him in the DCU, but would love to see him in any kind of hero collecting game or like this one. I could see the ultimate being the S means hope. Maybe he buffs all his everyone on the team or something like that, gives them all frantic or shelter or something to help them get through the battle, to rise them up. They'll join you out in the sun or something like that, something from the movies that means something. I could see something like where he runs over, like DCU Superman does his little spin thing and he does like 4 or 5 different damages, something like that, but Henry goes over and punches him like 5 times, and it's like, you don't threaten my mother, like what he did with Zod in the middle of Man of Steel, when Zod was threatening his mother and he's just pounding him in the face and breaks his shield. Something like that could be really cool as well, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, Henry Cavill's Superman would be my first. Plus visually, he's stacked. He's just, he beats all that, and it just would be really cool to see. It would be awesome. I'd love it. He'd be my favorite character. It'd be great. My second one is a little bit of a different twist, but it'd be Smallville's Tom Welling's version of, I guess technically not Superman. If you want to get into that, that's fine. We'll call him Superman for the sake of this video, but to see him out there, and it'd have to be no Superman suit when, we can't wear the suit, but to have him out there in like the jeans and the red or blue coat, or even if you want to go black with the trench coat, whatever your version is, that'd be cool too. Hell, you could get into skins. That could be a whole nother video actually. But or maybe you could do this as skins as opposed to variants. Maybe they would, you could get skins and you could put your own skin on these characters. But anyway, back to, before I get too sidetracked, yeah, something like he does something where he runs around and heals everyone, or runs around and damages everyone, and we called the Blur, since he was called the Blur in the show, since he didn't fly, he ran around like the Flash and stuff like that. I just think it'd be a really cool variant to see. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I like the show. It's a CW show, so it is what it is. It's not winning any Academy Awards or anything like that, but hey, it's still a story of Superman, and it was a lot of fun. and I liked it, and I would love to see his version in this game. It'd be a lot of fun. I think you could do a few things with it. Um, Obviously, the blur, the running around would have to be one. You could do some kind of some other thing that's called Save Me. That's based on the iconic shot of him saving the kid during the, when in the middle of the intro and stuff like that. Maybe he does something where if someone dies, he runs over there and saves them and gives them 30% health, kind of like a Zod revive or something like that. And it could be called Save Me or something like that. Um, there's things you could do that I think would be really cool. There'd be some opportunities there that I think would be a lot of fun. And I think my third and final one would be Christopher Reeves. For me, that's where it all started. It was, my mom would tell the story of the first movie she ever took me to was Superman. And I watched that movie so many times, and just the idea that a man could fly, like they said, was just so awesome. And you could do some version of the move where he throws the S when he's fighting Zod in Superman 2, something to deal with when he hits, spins the planet back around, does the time travel. You could do some move based on that. Again, maybe another revive mechanic where maybe he does the revive mechanic where if someone dies, he spins around them 100 times, and then they revive and stuff like that. You could do something like that. Throw the S and you debuff someone, or you could throw the S and it freezes them, kind of like Bizarro's Zod and Bizarro's freezing mechanic and stuff like that. He throws the S and that freezes them for a turn or stuns them for a turn or something like that. And there'd be things you could do. So I just think that'd be awesome. And you gotta, like I said, you gotta have Christopher Reeves. That we don't have a Christopher Reeves version we can get is pretty, that I haven't seen yet, is kind of a bummer, and it'd be awesome to see. So, but yeah, those are my three. I think those would be my top three. Now you have Brandon Routh Superman out there. You could go with that. You could go with some of the old school Superman. You got Dean Cain Superman out there. You got Tyler Hawks. I probably pronounced his name wrong, but the guy that they just did the Superman series on, you could do a version of his. There's Kingdom Come. There's Red Sun. I mean, there's endless versions of Superman you could do and you could bring to a game like this. That would be a lot of fun. So let me know what yours would be. What's your top one or two versions of Superman you'd like to see in this game? I gave you my three. Henry, Tom Welling's version from Smallville, and Christopher Reeves would be mine. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys got to say and what you guys think. And are you even into variants? Would you even care about variants? Some people might be like, who cares? Just give me a Superman or a Batman and I'm good to go. I don't need, Christopher Nolan's version or Zack Snyder's version or whatever. I just need one Batman and I'm happy. So definitely let me know what you think, and I'll get you out of here with that. Just something fun to do, something to talk about, something to just to throw out there, and maybe we'll get lucky and this game will be around long enough that we'll get to see variants of our favorite characters. And if we do, I hope I get to see a couple of my favorites. It'd be fun, unlikely, but it'd be fun. So, alrighty guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Best luck on those mother box pulls. You still got a couple days for Firestorm. How much we got? 3 days left. Yep, 3 days, 8 hours. Keep getting after those Firestorms, guys. Him and Zod together, whew, they're setting the place on fire. And I'll leave you with that. All right, everyone, have a good one.